Welcome back to another episode of the Blxkwell Experience podcast. Today, on this episode, we're having our first guest. And I kind of want to do an intro for our guest, but let's get into it. Today's guest is a friend of mine. He has been on the podcast before. He's a best friend at that for over 20 years. He's a father, a husband, and a veteran. He served 6 years in the Army National Guard as a 68 Whiskey combat medic. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tyler Gwynn.
What's up, dude?
What's up? Well, it's been a while since you've been on.
I know,
right?
man. Yeah. I'm excited for the new podcast name. I think that's great.
Too.
I like that you're doing your own thing. It's going to be super cool. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future.
Sir. Appreciate it. Let's state the obvious real quick. We're on a boat on a lake here in Arkansas. I think it was pretty cool. Took advantage of. We're already out here jugging. Caught a few catfish already on some chicken liver and minnows. We actually got Jug set up out there already. Still, we're about to go pick them up after this. But yeah, this episode is going to be talking about my friend Tyler. So
sweet, man. Let's get into it.
All right. First off, I want to talk to you about just kind of like your childhood. How'd you grow up? Things like that.
Yeah. So growing up, I grew up in a house kind of like most people nowadays. Unfortunately, parents ended up getting divorced. They always fought. So that was rough. So I've been through some stuff in my childhood that I feel like I can relate to a lot of people on, just parents fighting in the home, stuff like that. I wasn't always the best kid. I got into a lot of trouble. I was rebellious, and my mom whooped my tail for that. So yeah, I don't have too many great memories growing up, man.
Yeah.
It was not always fun at the house. Lots of crap going on all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of fun memories growing up.
Yeah.
My more fun memories have come in my adulthood and everything.
Everybody has a different walk of life, you know.
Yeah.
Most of my friends they have all come from divorced families. Even me.
Yeah.
So actually, every single one of my friends has a divorced family. So, but yeah, I know that I mentioned that you were a veteran, 68 Whiskey combat medic in the Army National Guard. What made you decide on joining the military in the first place?
So that's actually kind of a funny story. I'll try to shorten it up a little bit. So I always had a fascination with things that fly. So originally I wanted to go into the Navy and fly like F-18s or F-16s, whatever kind of fighter jet I could get into. That's what I wanted to fly.
Right.
And I realized the Navy had a lot of those. And I liked the idea of flying off of an aircraft carrier.
Right.
So I really thought that I was going to join the Navy growing up. Thought that's where I was headed. And then I guess life had other plans for me. God had other plans for me. Actually, when I was 16 years old, I got sent to a program. It was kind of like a military school style deal. It was called Youth Challenge.
Yep.
And it was out at Camp Robinson here in Arkansas, which is a Army National Guard base.
Right.
We don't call them bases in the Army. We call them posts. But it's a base.
Right.
So I was there for 6 months. It was a 6-month program. Lots of rough kids in there. I mean, we had gang members in there, just all kinds of crazy stuff. So while I was there, since it was on an Army National Guard base, I got to see like Blackhawks flying over all the time. So I kind of changed my idea. I was like, okay, I think instead of the Navy, I'm going to go fly Blackhawks in the Army. Right. I think that'll be great. Um, so kind of lived out my junior year of high school. Then my senior year of high school, the second half of my senior year is when I decided to go to a recruiter, start talking to him, and enlist. But the recruiter I had, uh, he didn't tell me that I couldn't go to flight school right out of high school, because the Army does have a program called High School to Flight School,
Mm-hmm.
or Street to Seat. It's kind of got two different names.
Right.
But basically, you go in, no college education, no experience, nothing, and they send you to flight school. My recruiter, he wasn't lying to me when he told me this. You do have to get letters of recommendations from like congressmen or warrant officers in the Army before you can get into that program, and they only allow so many of those applicants in a year.
Right.
So I can't remember what the exact number is, but it's like, let's just say 30 people the entire year get to go into that program.
Right.
And so me just not really having a whole lot of self motivation, I was like, you know what? That sounds like too much work. I don't want to have to go contact congressmen, which now I regret my decision, because I could have been making really good money and been flying
Right.
Blackhawks, have
Yeah.
one of the coolest jobs in the military. But um, so I decided my second option was to be a combat medic. And the whole reason I even came up with that conclusion of that being my second option was I watched the movie Hacksaw Ridge.
Yep. Familiar
And
with that movie.
so that kind of became like my inspiration. I wanted to help people, I wanted to save lives, I wanted to do all that stuff. Um, so I enlisted as a combat medic, and yeah, did 6 years in the Army National Guard. Uh, had some great experiences, also had some real rough experiences, but that's just part of being in the military.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we both come from, we're both uh, military kids, so I definitely know a little bit about that as well. So, you know, I actually wanted to join the military at one time back in high school, and I wanted to go in the Air Force because my dad is retired Air Force, and I did so bad on the ASVAB. I only qualified for infantry for the Marines. I said, hell no.
Yeah.
I said I ain't going. I ain't doing that, and I ain't going there. So, but yeah, I've always told everybody my biggest regret is not going into the military.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm running out of time. I got to make this. I'm be 24 in 2 months. So
We've kind of talked about that before. I
yeah,
don't necessarily think it should be a regret, man. I like, you've got a family now. Um, Military life, it's not easy. Even if you are National Guard, it's still not easy. You still have other things you have to do outside of your 2 day drills and your 2 weeks in the summer.
right,
But I don't think it should be a regret, man. I don't think everybody should serve. I think,
right.
um, but yeah.
Now you talk about some of the experiences that I guess you've experienced in the military. What are some key good and bad ones that you can talk about?
Um, Experiences, or just like bad stories or good
Just
stories?
both.
Okay. I'll kind of start it off with like a good little experience slash life lesson. Um, when I got into the military, everybody starts out as a private, and you don't know anything. Um, but as I developed over the few years that I was in, I quickly realized I got to the rank E4 specialist. Could have promoted to sergeant like 3 years before I got out. So I would have been 3 years in the military as a sergeant, which is kind of cool. It's not super uncommon. People do hit that, but um, it's not. It's also not very common.
Right,
Anyway, so as a specialist, the last few years that I was in the military, at my unit, we had a bunch of new medics coming in. So I was doing a lot of teaching. I was teaching them not only medical uh, knowledge, but I was also teaching them stuff about our vehicles, like our Humvees and stuff, how to PMCS the vehicles, certain things like that. And PMCS, for people who don't know what that is, PMCS is just basically overlooking your vehicle, making sure everything's running right, everything's operational, and it's gonna get the mission done. Is essentially what a PMCS is. So I found myself as a specialist, really taking on a sergeant's role, but not getting paid as a sergeant because I was doing a lot of teaching because I'd been at my unit forever. And my unit, man, they had a very high, I don't know if it's considered high or low turnover rate, but basically a lot of the people who when I first got to the unit, they were no longer there towards the end of my contract. They either got out of the military, transferred to different units, or whatever. I wasn't in the best unit. Uh, I was in a pretty good unit. Like the infantry guys, they knew their stuff. They could mess you up with the best of the infantry guys. They were good, but as far as the leadership, it just wasn't the best. So I just kind of realized then that I was taking on a leadership role, which was pretty cool. Like being in, I wasn't technically in charge because I wasn't a sergeant, but a lot of people I do feel like kind of looked up to me in a way. A lot of our newer medics. So that was a cool experience that I got from the military. Basically, just leading other soldiers.
Right.
So that was a cool experience. Bad experiences I had, which if there's anybody that's in the Army watching this podcast, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say these letters. JRTC. That was in
Yep.
Fort Polk, Louisiana. That was some training we had to go through. I quickly realized then that the Army does not care about you. And as a medic, my whole goal is to look out for you, make sure you're not a heat casualty, make sure you're not having a heat stroke. My whole goal is to make sure you don't die. And so it was hard seeing a lot of guys like borderline heat stroke. And we had one guy, he was actually a sniper instructor. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a sniper instructor. If you saw this dude, you would think he was a Navy SEAL. Like he was ripped, he had tattoos, like he looked like a Navy SEAL. And he ended up having a heat stroke while we were out there, and the whole left side of his body just kind of stopped working.
Right.
And so they ended up medically discharging him. But this was back during COVID when all the military guys were supposed to be getting COVID vaccines. Well, he didn't have his COVID vaccine. He was one of the people refusing. So was I. But he was refusing to get his COVID vaccine. So they basically told him he wasn't going to qualify for any medical disability from the VA. And I think the story ended up good. I do think he fought it and got his disability. To be honest, I don't know if he ever recovered from it or if he did get kicked out. I don't know the full story there.
Right.
I do know he had a heat stroke and had to go to physical therapy for
Yeah.
a while to kind of help with some of those getting some of that motor skills back. Don't know if he was ever able to recover. But the whole time we were at JRTC in Louisiana, I mean, it was hot. It was some of the hottest heat I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, when it rained, we were like, the first time it rained while we were out there, we were like, yes, it's going to cool off. And then we quickly realized it only got hotter because of the humidity.
Yep.
It was awful.
Then your clothes and your gear end up weighing another 50
Oh,
pounds.
yeah. Which I tried not to take a lot of gear out there. I mean, we were out in the field I think I was out there for 16 days total.
Yeah.
No showers, no toilets, nothing. So you're literally taking a dump in a hole. You're not showering, you stink. And I will say, there is a certain point when it almost like you can't even smell yourself anymore or anybody else. So you
Yeah.
don't even realize how bad you actually smell.
Yeah. There comes to a point where you end up becoming nose blind,
Yeah.
and you don't realize it anymore. Um, Now, for anybody that's watching that maybe thinking about joining the Army or Army National Guard, and want to go into the medical field side of it, um, what is something that they can expect since you are a former combat medic?
Okay. First off, what you can expect from we'll start at the very beginning. So like basic training, AIT, which AIT Combat Medic School. some of the best stories in the military that I have. Essentially, medic school was at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. And man, it was a bunch of young, dumb kids. I mean, we're 18, 19, 20 years old. And you do get to go out in the city and kind of explore San Antonio and stuff on the weekends
Right.
once you hit a certain phase in medic school. But it was like a college fraternity, dude. I mean, we partied, we had fun. We weren't supposed to be drinking or anything like that. We still did. I mean, when you go out into town on the weekend and you've been in this stressful environment trying to retain all this medical knowledge and taking tests like every other day, literally you learn from a book one day, next day you're taking a test on the stuff you learned.
Yeah.
And it's that way the entire time through medic school. So you can expect a lot of, you got to study, you got to know your stuff, and
Yeah. It's
it's
not
not
easy.
easy. It's
It's
not
not
high
easy.
school. And there's no, what do you call it? Makeup work.
Yeah.
You can't raise your grade. You can't do makeup work.
And
Um,
you got a limited amount of retries
yeah.
before you're at.
So throughout medic school, you've got like smaller tests that's preparing you for the big test, which is the NREMT, National Registry of Emergency Medical
Yeah.
Technician or whatever. So it's to get your EMT
Right.
certification. Um, and with that, you with all those small tests, you do get to, if you fail the test, you get to you do like a quick, oh, what do you call it? Relearn, I think is what they called it.
Right.
So you do a quick relearn for about 2 hours. If you fail it, and then you test on it again, and you only get one time on each of those tests. And I think there was like 8 tests
Mm-hmm.
before the big test. Now on the big test, that test is hard. Probably the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. And I'm not a very smart person, so that one was rough for me. You get 3 tries in medic school to take that test, and I mean, this test is only hard because it'll ask you a question and then it gives you multiple medical options that could be correct,
Right.
but you have to choose what the best one would be. And I mean, it's about everything. It's not about just like arms getting blown off and tourniquets and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's about old man has diabetes and he forgot to take his nitroglycerin. Uh, oh my gosh, we
Oh
have
my
a
gosh.
big fish on a jug over
Holy
there.
crap.
Oh my gosh. That's a huge fish, dude. All right,
Dude.
I'm gonna finish up this point real quick.
Yeah.
So anyway, this you've got to choose the best option on this test. So that's what makes it hard because you don't really know what the best option is. So you got 3 times to take that test. If you fail it on the third time, you're out. They're gonna reclass you to a 88 Mike, which is a truck driver or some bullcrap like
Yeah.
that you don't
Something.
really want to do.
Yeah. Some logistics.
So yeah, that's kind of what you can expect from that side. And then honestly, I love my job as a medic in the military. It's kind of bittersweet when I was talking about JRTC in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like I loaded a lot of guys up on a Black Hawk and getting them med flighted out of there because they were about to heat stroke or whatever. But also, so that kind of gives you like the gratification of helping people out. That's
Right.
why you became a medic. But it ain't easy, man.
No.
It's rough.
We got one on the jug, boys. Tyler's about to get it.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh yeah,
Let's
baby.
go, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
It might be the biggest one. Oh, might be the biggest one we've ever caught out here, to be honest. Yeah.
All right, we're back. We just got 2 huge catfish. One of them might be a PR. I'm not sure, but anyway, let's resume. Um, so you got out February of this year, right?
Yep.
And I know you've talked about that you kind of miss it and you want to go back. And you also said that you don't want to go back. What would it take for you to actually re-enlist?
Oh, that's a good question. So already, like I said earlier, I always wanted to be a Black Hawk pilot. So actually, before I got out, they do like this recruiting and retention thing with you. So I had gone to that, and they were trying to get me to re-enlist, and they kind of they'll kind of give you options, like you can get a bonus, you can do this if you re-enlist. If you want to be a pilot, they even said this in the meeting. If you want to be a Black Hawk pilot, give us about 6 months. You'll be in that Black Hawk seat. I said, okay. Let me go talk to this guy real quick, knowing that it was a lie, dude.
Right,
They're not gonna put you. They're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So I went and talked to him. Started kind of trying to maybe go the Black Hawk pilot route. They basically told me, yes, I can do that. There were several things I would have to do. One of them was retake the ASVAB, and I needed I needed a 110 GT score, and I believe I have like a 107.
Right.
And that's just a certain score on the ASVAB. They combine subjects, and then you get a GT score. Anyway, so I would have had to retake the ASVAB, try to get a higher score. The big one for me, the ASVAB wasn't the point where I was like, no, I'm not gonna pursue this. It was this next point that I'm about to tell you. So they told me that if I wanted to be a pilot, I would have to transfer over to our aviation unit for 2 years as a combat medic. And throughout those 2 years, it would be like a probational period where they would evaluate me and see if I would be a good candidate to go to flight school.
Right.
So there was no guarantee that even if I re-enlisted for 2 years, went over to this aviation unit as a medic, that I was even going to be guaranteed a pilot slot and go to pilot school and live my dream. So at that point, I kind of decided they obviously don't want me in if they're not willing to just go ahead. I told them, I was like, I'll re-enlist right now if you can give me a date that I'm going to pilot school within the next 6 months.
Right.
I will sign the papers and everything.
Hey, buddy.
They said they couldn't do it. So but back to your question, if there was anything I was offered or anything like that to re-enlist, what it would take, it would probably be a guaranteed Black Hawk pilot slot, and I would go immediately.
Right. Now, would you pair that with a added sign-on bonus or any kind of money involved?
I would try to get a bonus.
Or do you think just solely the being able to go to the Black Hawk pilot school?
I would try for a bonus. I'm not too sure with more officer positions like a pilot if they even give out bonuses for that.
Right.
But oh man, I got sweat in my eye.
I know, dude.
Oh,
it's hot out today. It's cooled down here a little bit, but earlier, about 3 hours ago, it was probably about 105 degrees. And another thing, since I brought up the heat, y'all got to stay safe out here. Y'all have to hydrate. When Tyler talked about heat stroke, it's nothing. The heat is nothing to play around with. It can literally ruin your life if you get a heat stroke.
Yeah.
If possibly death. So yeah, stay hydrated. It's not just don't just drink water and think that's going to be enough. You need those electrolytes, some kind of sodium.
Yep.
Water is just going. You're just going to sweat it out, and you gotta keep drinking and drinking. It's nothing to hold the basically water weight to keep in your system. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's hot out today, dude.
I think the Black Hawk pilot would be enough for me to re-enlist. I really do.
Yeah. Cool. You got your own YouTube channel now.
Yep.
And that's what we're out here actually doing. We're doing a challenge video. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but my video might come out more or earlier than Tyler's. But what's your channel name and what's it about?
So my channel name is Waypoint 68 Outdoors. So that's kind of a play off of 68 whiskey.
Right.
But I wanted something outdoors. You got like Route 66,
Right.
stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's see what we can do with 68 whiskey, combat medic. Let's turn that into the name. So Waypoint 68 Outdoors is what I ended up coming up with.
Sweet. Now, what is your what is your channel about? Is it just about what we're doing here, fishing, or?
So I'm hoping to get into all kinds of crazy stuff. So right now we're fishing. I duck hunt a lot during duck season, so we'll be having some duck hunting videos on that. Um, and then also, man, I'm trying to get into like different stuff that I've never done before. I had somebody recently offer to take me spear fishing, like scuba diving, spear fishing.
Oh yeah.
He said they have like pneumatic spear guns, and you just shoot the fish.
Yep.
And then he said it's kind of fun if you get a big fish. They'll kind of like pull you around a little bit
Yeah.
before they die. But I thought that would be super cool to film. I've got a GoPro. I can film underwater, stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
I think that would be super fun. So just anything outdoorsy. I'd love to for people to invite me out and just show me like what kind of cool hunting or
Yeah.
fishing or whatever they're into, and
Yeah.
then I get to join them. I think that'd be super cool.
Absolutely. I know we both want to try bow fishing, so
Yeah. Oh,
that's
that would be
definitely on our
another fun
list.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we get the opportunity to do that. Um, but one of the bow fishing rigs, they ain't cheap. So
No.
um, let's see here. Oh, I want to send my prayers out to the victims and the families of the Texas flood. Man, I can't fathom the feeling of not knowing where your child is, or losing your child in a travesty like that. So my heart and my prayers goes out to the victims and the families. There's one thing that's really been, eh, I don't understand how cruel people can be. Um, there's this one, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there's this one lady on TikTok, and I'm not gonna share her name. She doesn't know, she doesn't need any more of a spotlight that she already has. But I wrote down some points here of like basically what she said, and it's absolutely horrible. Oh, the camp's called Camp Mystic,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she's basically saying that Camp Mystic is an all white uh, camp,
Hmm.
and a Christian camp at that. And she's showing, so the video it's showing the website of this camp, and there's a big like rectangle box of flipping through the pictures of whoever, of the girls or people that are there, and it literally shows in some of the pictures of, like, there's girls of different colors other than white in the pictures. She doesn't make any sense. That's how brain dead this woman is. But she also talks about, she keeps saying she hopes that these girls are found and found safely, and and then she goes into why, immediately after she says that she hopes that they're found, she immediately goes into why you shouldn't go out there and help and support, because this is an all white Christian camp or girls camp.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it gets worse. It gets worse. So she clearly explains that if this camp was an all Hispanic group of girls that lost their lives in this flood, that they would not get any um, traction or any news or media traction on this. That it's only because they're white that they got this traction from it. And I absolutely disagree with that. Only this isn't East Texas, okay? It is a majority uh, of the like ethnic scale there is white, but there's also Hispanics, blacks. There, every race is there. This flood did not just only affect
Yeah.
this camp. I mean, it affected uh, RV camps that are there, housing structures that are around, like, and you don't know if
Yeah.
they were white. Like it, so, um, but it gets worse also. So she somebody comments on her TikTok, right, and I get disagreeing with what she says, and she comments back to them, maybe it was God's plan to let these little cunts drown. Yeah,
Wow. That's terrible,
it's
man. Like
and yeah,
that's evil,
it
and
is. It's
I
disgusting.
hope that woman does not have children.
Oh, she has two grown boys, but just because it didn't happen to them, she's going to talk shit
Yeah,
about.
that's wild.
All because she thinks it's a all-white Christian girls camp, and it's not. And this flood did not just affect these girls either, but that when I saw that video, it absolutely like ate at me. Like I needed to talk
I
about it.
don't even know how people are bold, one, to have that take on the situation, two, to post it
Yeah,
online.
yeah. And are you familiar with the Hodge twins, right?
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody that's watching this video to go to the Hodge twins YouTube page. I think it's called Conservative Twins. Is when they talk about this woman, and they absolutely cook this woman because the Hodge twins are black as well. So, but they disagree with her. You know how they are.
Yeah.
But they absolutely cooked this woman, and they couldn't believe it too. Like somebody can say that about these little girls. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand how somebody can say that. Dude, have you seen the UFC fight card at the White House?
I haven't seen the fight card. I heard there was like talk about possibly doing a UFC event at the White House, and I didn't think it was gonna actually happen. So is
Yeah.
it happening?
No, it's happening. Dana White has said on I don't know who somebody's podcast. I think it might have been with the Noke Boys. That it is happening.
Oh wow.
So
I think I did hear a little bit about that with the Nelk boys because I think he said John Jones, who just announced his retirement,
yeah,
might be coming out of retirement
yeah,
just to fight at the White House or something.
yeah. Supposedly, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about John Jones and Emma McGregor fight card, like them two fighting each other.
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, do you know how cool that would be if we get to go to that?
Yeah, that'd be
Now,
sick.
they're gonna probably ask like 10 grand a ticket,
Oh yeah.
and they're also so they are doing it on the 4th of July, and for this next year's 4th of July is America's 250th birthday,
Okay.
so that's pretty cool. And he also said that he's not gonna spoil like what all is gonna go down, but he told this guy, he's like, imagine what I'm gonna bring to this fight at the White House, and imagine what Trump's gonna do.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's gonna be freaking big. It's gonna be a one for the books. So
Yeah. That'd be awesome,
we're
man.
we definitely got to buy that pay per view, dude.
Yeah. I'm
So
looking forward to that one.
this probably is gonna be a little bit of a shorter podcast. We're cooked. It is so hot out here.
Yeah, I know.
I probably lost 15 pounds today. Oh, what's something people don't know about you?
Hmm. Like no one knows about me or
Like most people don't know about you.
ah.
I mean, you're a pretty avid duck hunter, you know?
Yeah. I guess I guess people wouldn't know that about me, honestly, if they met me. So I am a little bit of a mix between like a city boy slash country boy.
Yeah,
Like I'm not all out like country and
yeah,
everything. I like big city vibes. I would love to live in a place at least for a little bit to just experience it,
right.
like New York or. And when I say New York, I'm not talking about like there's country parts of New York, but like
Yeah.
New York City.
San
Um,
Antonio.
yeah, I loved San Antonio, going out into the city when I was there. Um, so I guess that's kind of something people wouldn't know about me, is that I do also love to duck hunt. If you just met me, you'd probably think I was some city boy that
Yeah,
doesn't really go fishing or whatever. And now I look a certain way now that I've been able to grow my beard out and my hair. I
right.
kind of look more country now, but
Yeah.
back when I couldn't have my beard and hair and the way I dressed, uh, I just kind of people thought I was a city boy.
Right.
So they may not would know that I like duck hunting and fishing and all that stuff too.
So, oh, another thing people might not know about you is you have your own photography and videography
Yeah.
business.
Yep.
Um, what's something about your industry in the filming business that outsiders get wrong or that frustrates you? I know we
Oh,
talked about this earlier, but I
yeah.
wanted to write that down and ask you
Yeah.
on here.
One big thing, there's a lot of things that bother me in my industry, but one big thing is people not charging enough for their work, because then it kind of drives the industry prices down. So if everybody's charging a low rate, then I've also got to charge a low rate or like somewhat. competitive. Like I can't be super high when everybody else is super low.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that think they can pick up a camera, start doing photography and videography, and they'll charge $100 for a video for like the first 3-4 years of their trying to start their business,
Yeah.
and then they wonder why they can't go full time.
Right.
It's like, well, you're not charging enough to be able to go full time.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then the other big thing that we kind of talked about earlier, but I'll mention it here too, is the I get new-ish videographers. If I meet them, they'll ask me if I've worked with any like famous people, famous country singers or rappers or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I work with a lot of local people. I work with businesses, real estate agents. I did used to shoot a lot of rap music videos, and I've shot country music videos as well. I actually just won Arkansas Country Music Video of the Year.
You did. You did.
So that was kind of cool and exciting, fun little experience. I got to walk a red carpet. Made me feel big and bad for a night. But recently I had a guy, a new videographer. I met him and he asked me if I'd shot for any celebrities or anything. And I was like, no. And he started naming off all these people. One of them was Big X the Plug.
Yeah.
That he said he worked for.
Right.
When in all reality of it, Big X the Plug came to the city he was in and played a show at a venue in town, and he showed up with a camera. Big X the Plug did not reach out to him to shoot a video and pay him to shoot it and all this.
Yeah.
So guys try to upplay what they're actually doing. They'll say they shot for people when they didn't shoot for them. They just happened to show up to a venue that person was playing at and shoot a video.
I got a couple more points before we get out of here. You know, we're both duck hunters. We love the duck hunting. What do you? I want your opinion on water swatting. Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah. So, I guess I can kind of explain it for people who don't know. So, water swatting is basically when a group of ducks or a duck come in and they're flying, and then they decide to land in your decoys, and then you shoot them while they're on the water. I feel like a lot of people will say that that's wrong because you're not giving the waterfowl a fair chance to escape your shot, which I've also seen a lot of people miss their water swat.
Yeah, somehow.
So I don't have a problem with it. It's already an unfair advantage anyway because you're using a shotgun.
Yeah.
The duck ain't got a shotgun, does he?
Exactly.
So I think it's all right. I think it should be a for sure kill if you know how to shoot.
Right. You'd be surprised about who can't.
So yeah. Anyway, I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if a lot of people don't have the skill level of even calling in the first place.
Yeah.
So if you're able to call them to where they're not just going to circle around once and then that's your opportunity to kill one, and they just fly off. If you actually are good enough and know how to use a call, good to the point to where they come down and land on your decoy spread. I don't have a problem with water swatting anyway, or at all too, because obviously the skill level to be able to do that. And if you shoot the duck on the water, let's say somehow you miss the shot, right? You actually have more time for follow-up shots because it's take them longer to get off the water and get back in. So, I mean, it's almost an advantage in a way.
Yeah.
But but some people disagree, you know, and people that feel like disagree probably don't go duck hunting a lot.
My first duck ever was a green winged teal that I water swatted. It was actually a guided hunt, and it was my first duck hunt. Well, it was my first duck hunt as a kid that I could actually go shoot. I used to go with my dad all the time when I was real young.
Yeah.
but I wasn't actually shooting anything. But the guide there, he made sure everybody in the pit blind we were in didn't shoot. He said, "This one's Tyler's," uh, and he said, "Shoot it when it lands on the water." I said, "All right." It landed on the water, and I had a single shot 20 gauge at the time. It was break action, single shot
Yeah.
20 gauge. And I took that one shot, and that duck did not move after that. But I also blasted his decoy that was sitting right next to it. But he
That
told
happens
us
sometimes.
he told us before the hunt, if you hit one of my decoys, you better kill the duck. So I did the most important part.
Right.
So
I got one last thing before we end the episode here. Um, we're both kind of dabbling into this AI world, right? We're
yeah.
using Chat GPT almost literally for everything, and it's really fascinating. Um, but I saw this on the Joe Rogan podcast. They just passed the AI Turing Test for AI. And are you familiar with what that test is?
Uh-uh.
So it's a test of if AI can feel emotion
Oh.
or I can't remember what all he said or something to that effect, emotion, and it passed it. So AI can actually feel emotion. So I mean, I've said about 5 years. I really don't know how fast the industry is growing or how AI is growing, but I bet you in the next 5 years there's going to be a lot of sketchy things that are going
Yeah.
to pop up about it. But
I don't know if there's any way they can like limit it or put restrictions on it, or if it just is what it is now and
yeah,
it's gonna keep learning and growing. And like those movies, sometimes they
yeah,
have like AI takeovers.
yeah.
I hope
So
it doesn't get to that point, but it's kind of
yeah,
weird because we don't really know where it could lead.
yeah. So as far as I know, AI is like self-developing. So there's not you can't control you can control it to a degree, but they're not doing that. And it's self-developing. It's like this big metaverse and all this data, and it's learning from what people ask it or want it to do, and it's just this pool of data, and that's how it develops. And I guess it's gotten to the point to where it's almost humanized in a way.
It's weird and it's
So
crazy because it's so hard as a simple human myself to just like wrap my head around that. Like,
yeah,
how does AI work and how does it learn things and just
yeah,
get all the data? It's crazy to me. So
it's crazy, dude. But that's all I got for this episode. This is Tyler Gwynn. Thank you for coming on the
yeah, it was cool,
podcast,
dude.
dude.
Cool.
I'll make sure to get you back on in the future. Go check out Waypoint 68 Outdoors, his YouTube channel. I'm going to be on this video that we did today for his channel. So thank y'all for watching.
Sweet, man. Woo, all right, let's get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here, bro.